In this tutorial, we'll learn to unleash the power of death itself. We will learn how to play the N-Zap.
The N-Zap is a shooter class weapon whose effective range is average amongst other shooters. It plays similarly to the splatter shot, the 52 gal, the nozzle nose, and the splash-o-matic. What it has over these other weapons is mobility. Its ability to strafe quickly and cover turf faster is what makes it so good in solo ranked. Now, a lot of people decry the N-Zap as overpowered, and I don't know if that's 100% fair. It's not so much that the N-Zap is overpowered, it just does well in so many situations. In solo ranked, you're at the mercy of whatever your team comp is, and sometimes your team comp can be 2 flings rollers and a goo tuber. If you're playing something hyper-aggressive like the Luna Blaster or the Bucket, you might just lose out of no fault of your own. The N-Zap has the ability not only to get kills, but to support itself, to push the objective. It can basically do it all. It's a one-man army, and that's what makes it so good. Sadly, as of patch 3.0, Nintendo has yet to give us another weapon kit for the N-Zap. It's just the 85. Yep. Just only the weapon. Fine. You know what, you've worn me down. Yes, there is the 89, and it is technically a kit, but it's usually not worth using. It's almost always worse than the 85. But, out of due diligence, here's a quick guide on how to play the N-Zap 89. The N-Zap 89 has the auto bomb, which is a bad compromise between a bomb and a point sensor. You can use it, and it will follow the enemy, and sometimes, if you're lucky, and you believe in magic, you can use it to locate an enemy and finish them off. You also have the Tentamissiles, which does a decent job of tracking the enemy, and does apply a certain amount of pressure, just behind the special known as the Baller, the Bomb Launcher, the Inkjet, the Stingray, the Splashdown, the Ink Armor, the Bubble Blower, the Ink Star. It's worse than all the other specials. A cool thing you can do with the N-Zap 89, though, is that after the match is over, you can go up to change gear and loadout, and then change to the N-Zap 85 and play for real this time, you dummy. So I spent all this time dunking on the 89, so you're probably wondering, what makes the 85's kit so great? Suction Bomb and Ink Armor are both very solid subs and specials. Suction Bomb is great all-purpose. It can pressure the enemy, it can push them out of your turf, it can trap an enemy in a bad situation into essentially dying, and if you're ever outranged by a long-range shooter or a slosher or anything that can push you out, you can use the bomb to put them out of position, making them vulnerable from a counterattack from you or one of your allies. Ink Armor is king amongst specials and solo ranked. The ability to take a couple more hits in a game where it only takes a couple hits to kill you is a huge deal. You should activate your Ink Armor if your team is trying to make a push, or if all of the members of your team are alive and can benefit from it, or if the enemy is making a critical push and you absolutely need to get them off the field before they get points on the board. And now we find ourselves faced with one of life's most challenging questions. What do I wear? This can be especially tricky with the N-Zap. Due to its versatility, it seems like a lot of gear could be viable, and that's kinda true. However, there are some hard and fast rules on what the best gear is, and I'm here to divulge them. First of all, the best gear ability is run speed up, bar none. The N-Zap is a light class weapon, which means it moves the quickest while shooting. And if you can increase that quickness, you'll be that much harder to shoot down in a firefight, and that means you'll come out on top. After that, you have to ask yourself, what is it I intend to do during a match? The N-Zap has the ability to focus on getting kills or supporting and pushing the objective. If violence is your bag, and Lord knows you're playing Splatoon, so it very might well be, then you should focus on conserving your ink as much as possible. Ink Saver Main is kind of a no-brainer. The more bullets you can shoot, the longer you can stay in the fight, and the more people you can splat. However, Ink Saver Sub is no slouch either. Being able to throw a bomb is only good if you can follow it up with some blasts from your trusty gun. For the N-Zap, who's more of a lover than a fighter, you should focus on your special. Special Charge Up can help you get those ink armors faster, and Special Power Up will help them last longer as well as come out faster. Ink armor coming out faster is important because if you get splatted early on during the animation, your team won't benefit from its effects. Additionally, it might be worth it to run at least one sub of Special Saver. One sub can go a long way to mitigating the special charge loss from getting splatted. A few other general gear abilities that I can recommend are Quick Respawn, Quick Super Jump, and Comeback. All of these get you back in the game quickly and are good for starting out, but don't really fall off if you're a veteran. The ability to stay on the field as long as possible should not be underestimated. And as long as you're on the field helping your team and getting kills, you're doing everybody a great service. Alright, we're geared up, we're ready to go, the match is starting. What do I do? Again, another tricky question, especially due to the N-Zap's versatility. The first thing you want to do is ask yourself, well, how do I want to play this? Playing to your strengths is always important, and unless you're going out of your way to learn a new playstyle, if you're naturally more aggressive or more supportive, you should stick with what works. However, a caveat to that is to look at your team composition. If all of your teammates are running aggressive weapons, like the blaster, the tri-slosher, the sploosh, then maybe you should consider trying to hang back and support a little more. You know, get some paint on the ground, build up those specials, push the objective. After the match has been going for a while, you should ask yourself again, what should I be doing? Sometimes it's not obvious. While it seems like you should be going around and getting kills, sometimes it's more important to paint and build special, especially if it looks like your team is gearing up for a push. You can tell this is happening if A, you have more people alive than the opponent does, and B, if your team has a couple of other specials charged up. Getting more than one special off at a time can go a long way to get points on the board for your team. If you're a supportive player, then of course these rules work in the reverse. If your team is composed mostly of heavy splatlings and dynamo rollers, then it's kind of on you to get those kills. And when things are in neutral, when nobody's really taking points or exchanging turf, it's also kind of on you to find where the picks are and try and get enemies off the field. You might be wondering, maybe you're new, how do I get the enemies off the field? I keep losing fights. I'm bad at fighting. I'm bad at video games. I should just quit. No, don't quit. You're not bad at fighting. You just don't know the matchups yet. First and foremost, when you're fighting, you shouldn't be fighting head-on, one-on-one. You should be sticking with teammates, trying to gang up on people. You should be going around, finding flanks, going behind the enemy lines, shooting people from angles that they can't shoot you back. Another caveat, however, is that occasionally you will find yourself in situations where head-on conflict is unavoidable, either due to desperation or due to simply bad positioning. There are a few rules to remember with these matchups. If you're fighting a weapon that's more aggressive and more short range than you, such as the Luna Blaster, the Sploosh-O-Matic, the Tri-Slosher, and those weapons, the name of the game is kiting. Stay just outside their range while keeping them just inside your own. If you can do this, then you should be able to handle the fight without any trouble. If you're fighting longer range shooters, you will have a hard time getting in. It's not like you have a dodge roll or any fancy mobility sub like burst bomb or curling bomb. You're gonna have to get them to move somewhere disadvantageous, and the fastest way to achieve this is to throw a suction bomb at them. They have to move. And when they're moving, that's when you can make your move, get into position, get the kill. Or sometimes retreat. That's always a valid option too. Nothing wrong with a little bit of cowardice. Now there are a handful of weapons that aren't so straightforward when it comes to fighting. The first and most easy to explain is the roller. The roller is most effectively defeated simply by controlling the map. The roller needs a lot of space to do its dirty work, and if you don't give it that space, it won't be very effective. However, the most common roller, the vanilla splat roller, has a lot of options to get in, either a vertical flick or a curling bomb, or sometimes both. If you see one trying to push in with one of those two weapons, just like any other short range weapon, back up, back away. Don't move towards its path, don't move towards its bomb. These are both traps. If you back away, stay out of its one-hit KO range, you should be able to handily defeat it. The next weapon to talk about is blasters. Blasters can be a little bit unintuitive, and outside of the Luna and Clash Blaster, it's a good idea to try and get close. Blasters have a long startup time, a lot of end lag, and if they don't direct one-hit KO you, they're probably gonna die. So get in close, get that quick kill, and no big deal. The last one is the dualies. Now, while the dualies shoot like a pretty standard mid-range shooter, they have one sneaky trick, the dodge roll. This can make them very hard to track and shoot down during a firefight. Now, you will have to spend some time practicing tracking them, but it can be done. Until then, it's best if a dualie starts rolling around to disengage temporarily until it stops, or in between rolls. Remember that a tetradualie can shoot while rolling, so you're going to have to be extra careful if you try and track that and shoot it down during a roll. And that about wraps it up. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this guide and if you found it helpful, please subscribe and post in the comments below another weapon you want me to cover, and I'll try and make a guide for that. Now go out there and splat some squids.